Chapter 2700. Big Brother June, don't be angry. Yen Yen is stubborn. I have to explain everything to her. Xinjiani seemed to be afraid of this man. What's there to explain? I've already made up my mind and no one can change it. If your daughter is afraid, she can choose not to participate. But if she finds out, don't blame me for being ruthless. After speaking, the man glanced sideways at Hui Yen Yen and her daughter. His gaze was so cold and fierce that little Tian Tian was so scared that she kept retreating. Hui Yen Yen was also scared out of her wits. Hey Big Brother June, what are you talking about? No matter how bad Yen Yen is, she's still my daughter. With this kind of relationship, what are you worried about? Plus, we've already planned everything out and we don't need Yen Yen's help. As for finding out, she definitely won't do it. She'll definitely watch her mother die. Right, Yen Yen? Xinjiani smiled like a blooming flower. She turned around and glanced at Hui Yen Yen. Then she kept winking at Xinjiani, telling her to say something nice so that she wouldn't anger the outlaw He Yongjun. Hui Yen Yen wasn't stupid. Naturally, she didn't dare to anger this man. I won't help you, but I won't tell anyone. Skid. He Yongjun took out a cigarette and lit it. The atmosphere seemed to have eased a little. Mom, I'm leaving with the kids. They have to go to school tomorrow. Hui Yen Yen was about to leave. Before Xinjiani could say anything, He Yongjun immediately yelled, No, you can't leave. But Hui Yen Yen froze. I don't trust you. I don't trust anyone. Now that you know where the twins are hiding, how can I let you go? I told you I won't tell anyone. Hui Yen Yen raised her voice and retorted angrily. I don't trust you, He Yongjun said through gritted teeth. You. Hui Yen Yen wanted to argue with her, but Xinjiani pulled her back. All right. Since your Uncle June won't let you leave, you and the child can stay here for now. It's not like there's no place to stay. You can leave with the child after we change to a new hiding place tomorrow. It won't be too late for you to leave with the child. You want to go somewhere else? Hui Yen Yen frowned. That's right. Qinchu and Huimin are so smart. They'll find this place very soon. We have to change every day to keep our whereabouts secret. Hui Yen Yen gritted her teeth and didn't say anything. She picked up her phone and made a call as she said, Since we can't go back, we should at least give Mingxi a call and let him know. Otherwise he'll be worried. But before she could dial the number, He Yongjun snatched the phone away and smashed it on the ground. What are you doing? Hui Yen Yen roared. I can't call and my phone can't be turned on. Hearing He Yongjun's words, Hui Yen Yen finally understood. He was afraid that he would be targeted. He was indeed cunning. Yen Yen, just listen to your Uncle June this once. Don't cause trouble. Xinjiani was obviously speaking up for that man. Mommy, I'm scared. Tian Tian was so scared that she hugged her mother's thigh tightly. Don't be scared. Mommy's here. Yen Yen, take the child to that room and rest. We'll leave tomorrow morning. You and the child can go home. Xinjiani said. Mom, do we really have to do this? Hui Yen Yen thought that if this didn't work out, her mother would end up like her brother. Qinchu would definitely not let them go. Chapter 2701. Yes, I'll definitely avenge C. Hearing her mother's words, Hui Yen Yen didn't say anything else. He brought the kids into the small room. She could tell that her mother and that man were doing it for money and revenge. Her mother wanted to avenge her brother, so she didn't mind being used. That man, on the other hand, only wanted money. No matter what happened, as long as he was paid, he would do anything. Therefore he was being used by her mother. The two of them hit it off and made use of each other. They had made up their minds and Hui Yen Yen couldn't persuade them on her own. Mommy, Grandma, are they going to kill my sisters? Tian Tian asked softly as she nestled in Hui Yen Yen's arms. Hui Yen Yen didn't say anything. She hugged her daughter even tighter. A few days ago her mother suddenly came back to China. She was very happy and thought that they could be together as a family. Now it seemed like they came back with a purpose. Hui Yen Yen sighed. She was very conflicted. In the locked room, the twins had eaten their fill and were chatting on the bed. Little Bean, sis, I think I ate too much. Pudding, so? Little Bean, I want to go out for a walk to digest. Pudding, don't mess around. We're kidnapped. We're not on vacation. The door is locked. How can we go out? Little Bean, I just looked around. There's not even a toilet. Pudding, isn't there a bucket over there? If you want to pee, you can go there. Little Bean, you won't think I'm smelly, right? Pudding, It's an emergency. I'll bear with it. Little Bean, what if it's poop? Pudding, Chin Moo Moo, can't you eat less? Little Bean, I'll be sad if I don't eat enough. Don't you know me? Pudding, Little Bean, so sis, what should we do now? Pudding got up helplessly. She walked to the door and tried to pull it. It was locked so tightly that she couldn't get out. Someone. Pudding pounded on the door with all her might. Soon Shinjiani walked over impatiently. Be quiet, kid. My sister wants to poop, Pudding said through the door. Isn't there a bucket inside? It's okay to pee, but it's not okay to poop. How can you sleep when it's full of smell? Don't cause trouble. If I tell you to stay inside, then stay inside. If you shout again, I'll pull out your tongue. Shinjiani deliberately threatened. Now we have to take my sister out to poop. Otherwise the two of us will keep yelling and yelling. You won't be able to have any peace. Shinjiani didn't wait for him to finish. Pudding continued, if you pull out our tongues we'll both die. Then you'll ask my daddy for money. My daddy wants to listen to our voices and talk to us. What will you do then? If you don't want a few billion, you can do whatever you want. Shinjiani was speechless upon hearing this. What's going on? Hyungjun put down his wine glass and walked over. Brother Jun, the two kids want to go to the toilet. They said they want to poop. Then bring them there. He won't run away, right? I heard that the two kids are very smart and cunning. Shinjiani was a bit hesitant. Are you kidding me? I, Hyungjun, have killed countless people in my life. Why would I be afraid of two kids? Then, okay, I'll let them out. Keep an eye on them and don't make any mistakes. Finally, Shinjiani agreed to open the door. This was the first time Pudding and Little Bean were let out after being kidnapped. Chapter 2702. It was also the first time Shinjiani looked at the two kids so closely. He was really beautiful. He was really good-looking. Where's the bathroom? Pudding asked calmly. She didn't cry or make a fuss. Hyungjun pointed at the shabby outhouse in the south. It's too dark over there. Don't you have a flashlight? Pudding turned around and asked. Well, the phone has a flashlight function, Pudding reminded him. You want a phone? In your dreams. Don't think I don't know what you're trying to do. Keep your thoughts to yourself. Hyungjun glared at Pudding and warned her. You're overthinking it. As long as you take out the card, you won't be able to locate it or make any calls. A phone without a card is useless. I don't know what you're afraid of. Scary to be uneducated. Uncle, you look like you're not educated, Pudding mocked. Hearing Pudding's words, Hyungjun took out his phone, unplugged the card and was about to hand it to Pudding. However, Shinjiani stopped him. Big brother Jun, you can't give it to her. It's fine without a card. You won't be able to locate it or make any calls, Hyungjun said according to what Pudding told him. Even without a card you can still make an emergency call. Big brother Jun, are you stupid? Shinjiani warned. Hyungjun came to a sudden realization and slapped Pudding's head. The sudden slap made Pudding feel dizzy. Little bastard, I almost fell for your trick, Hyungjun cursed. I told you that these two kids aren't normal kids. You have to be careful. They're full of tricks. Shinjiani frowned slightly. Go poop in the bushes over there. Once you're done, get the hell out of here. Otherwise I'll shoot you both. Hyungjun was angry. Big Beard, why did you hit my sister? Fuck your ancestors. I'm going to kill you. Pudding cursed and pounced on him. Seeing Pudding get slapped, Pudding was heartbroken. She didn't care about anything else and rushed up to Hyungjun and bit his arm. Hyungjun felt the pain and flung Pudding away. Pudding hit the table on the other side. Immediately, a wound appeared on her head. Blood flowed out and flowed down her delicate little face. Little Bean. Pudding ran over and helped her sister up. After seeing the blood, she skillfully tore off the corner of her skirt and bandaged it for her. My sister is injured. We need to go to the hospital immediately. Pudding turned around and glanced at Hyungjun and Shinjiani coldly. Are you kidding? We're in the middle of nowhere. There's no hospital here. Shinjiani crossed her arms in front of her chest, looking indifferent. There's no hospital. Clinic is good too. Otherwise there will be wounds on the head. If it gets infected, it will cause tetanus. Because their mother Hwamin was a doctor, the twins had been influenced by her since they were young. They knew how to treat illnesses and maintain their health. Even their first aid techniques were not inferior to those of professional nurses. This was the way of survival that their mother had taught them. Pudding didn't expect it to come in handy so soon. We don't care about that. We are only responsible for asking your parents for money. Hee-young-jun glanced at the two children mercilessly. But if we die you won't get a penny. My daddy and mommy won't give you any money if they don't see you alive. You're not dead yet, right? You won't die if you hit your head. Don't worry. Don't be so pretentious, Shinjiani interrupted. Pudding picked up a bowl on the table and smashed it. She quickly picked up a piece of broken rice and pressed it against her neck. If I die now I promise you won't get a penny, and you'll die a horrible death. Pudding's eyes were very calm and collected. Even adults like Shinjiani and Hee-young-jun were a little flustered. Chapter 2703. Inside the house, Hui Yanyan woke up and saw what was happening. Mommy, little Bean is hurt. Her head is bleeding. We need to take her to the hospital, Tian screamed. Hui Yanyan looked conflicted but she didn't do anything. Mommy, are you listening to me? Tian shook Hui Yanyan's body with all her might. However, she didn't say anything. She just stared out the window with a conflicted expression. No, I have to go find Grandma. I have to tell her that she can't do that to little Bean. Tian was young but her feelings for the twins were real. Therefore, when she saw that her mother didn't say anything or do anything, she decided to talk to her grandma herself. However, Hui Yanyan pulled her back. Tian, don't go. Mommy, what's wrong? The teacher always says that if you see someone faint on the street you have to call the police. But you're just going to watch little Bean lie there and not care about them? Auntie Huamin is really nice to me. Every time I go to her house she buys me pretty dresses and brings me delicious food. I don't want anything to happen to little Bean. Although Tian was young, she knew that she had to help her friends. Tian, it's not as simple as you think. We can't go. Mommy can't do anything about it, Hui Yanyan tried to explain. I don't care. I have to save little Bean. Hui Yanyan grabbed her daughter's clothes and refused to let go. Grandma. Tian was about to shout when Hui Yanyan covered her mouth. Ooh. Tian couldn't open her mouth for a moment. Hui Yanyan looked out the window with tears in her eyes. She muttered to herself, I'm sorry, Mian. I can't help them. Yes, Hui Yanyan was different this time. He had a lot to consider. First of all, Hee-young-jun wasn't Huasi. Even if Huasi found out what her sister did, he would at most be angry, but he wouldn't hurt them. But Hee-young-jun was different. He was a desperado who only had money in his eyes. It was obvious that his mother was afraid of him. Therefore he definitely could not provoke him. Judging from how he had angrily smashed Hui Yanyan's phone, it was obvious how fierce he was. In order to protect herself, Hui Yanyan naturally refused to intervene. Secondly, this time her mother was also involved. If she really released the twins, then her mother would have to die. Qin Chu would never let go of anyone who hurt his daughter. Therefore this time no matter what, Hui Yanyan would not lend a helping hand. However, her heart was filled with torment and guilt. After all, such a young child was innocent and did not understand the grudges between adults. Brother Jun, what should we do? Shinjiani panicked. Hee-young-jun didn't say anything. Looking at Pudding's neither servile nor overbearing eyes, he finally compromised. Take them to the clinic. So late. How can there be a clinic? Shinjiani complained. There should be one in the village. This place isn't safe anyway. We still have to change tomorrow morning. Why don't we go now? Hey. I'll go and wake Yan and the twins up. No need. They can stay and leave by themselves in the morning. Hee-young-jun's words were obvious. He didn't trust Hui Yanyan. Okay then. Shinjiani didn't dare to say more and followed Hee-young-jun's instructions. Half an hour later, Hee-young-jun drove a black car with a fake license plate and left the barren land with Shinjiani and the twins. They headed towards another village. On the way, Pudding hugged her sister and comforted her. Little Bean were almost at the clinic. Hang in there. Chapter 2704. At South Hill Manor, Huamin didn't sleep the entire night. In the morning she was so anxious that her throat was hoarse and she caught a cold. She coughed violently, over and over again. Cough, cough. Mian, take some medicine. You're coughing so much, what should we do? Qin Chu's heart ached. He took out a box of cough-stopping Chinese medicine from the first aid kit and held a glass of warm water. Huamin waved her hand. No, I'm fine. Honey, do you have any news about the kids? Not yet, but I believe we will soon. They can't leave the city. City is only so big, Chin Chu comforted his wife. Hearing that there was no news, Huamin's eyes dimmed again. No, I have to go out and look for them. We can't wait like this. They might be locked up in some cold corner waiting for us to save them. Then Huamin got up and walked downstairs. Don't be rash. We don't have a target right now. Are we going to look for them aimlessly? It's better than sitting here and doing nothing. Then, ignoring Chin Chu's objections, Huamin dragged her weak body out of the house at 6:30 a.m. in the cold wind. Then she drove down the streets to look for them. Perhaps only a mother would be able to understand this kind of feeling. Chin Chu was afraid that something would happen to Huamin, so he had no choice but to follow her and keep an eye on her. At the same time, he had to keep in touch with Gao Ran and keep an eye on the latest movements. Siyu was also very anxious. Maybe it was because he was too angry, but Siyu kept drinking water. How's it going? Siyu asked in the WeChat group. Young Master Su, we've asked around. There's no clue. Yeah, Lord Su, there's no clue. Are they not in the city anymore? Impossible, the city is sealed. Even a fly can't fly over easily. Keep an eye on them. After that, Suyu threw his phone to the side anxiously. President Su, do you want some breakfast? You've been busy all night and haven't slept yet, and asked as he drove. If I don't eat, who has the mood to eat? Xi said snappily. And didn't dare to say another word. I wonder how Mion is doing. She must be in a lot of pain right now, Suyu sighed and muttered to himself. She wanted to comfort Huamin, but she didn't know what to say. Huamin was a very smart woman. She knew everything. His mouth was clumsy. And at this time Huamin's husband was by her side, so she couldn't keep calling him. Suyu only wanted to use all his power to find the twins as soon as possible. Although the authorities were not alerted, the entire Sea City was in chaos in private. Everyone was looking for the child. At this time the twins were still kidnapped by He Yongjun and were on their way to the village clinic. At dawn, Hui Yanyan walked out of the wilderness with her daughter. They got on the road and hailed a car to return to the city. Because her phone was broken by He Yongjun, she only took back the card. When Shin Mingxi saw her return, he immediately went up and asked, "Where did you go last night?" "I went back to the countryside with my mom to visit some relatives." "Then why didn't you call me?" "I was so worried." Shin Mingxi walked over and held Hui Yanyan's hand. Before Hui Yanyan could speak, Shin Mingxi saw the bruise on her face. "What happened to your face? Who hit you?" Shin Mingxi asked angrily. "I accidentally hit it. You know, the toilets in the countryside are all outside. I accidentally went there at night." Hui Yanyan made up a lie. On the way back, she threatened her daughter not to tell Uncle Shin. If she did, she would give her away. Tian was so scared that she didn't dare to say a word. However, Shin Mingxi casually mentioned, "Yan, did you know that Chin Chu and Huamin's twins went missing?" "How did you know?" Hui Yan looked at him in panic. Chapter 2705. The news has spread. Lord Su ordered us to find them. Many people in the industry are helping. Although my relationship with Lord Su is no longer the same as before, I'll still help. If we really find them, maybe we can mend our relationship with Lord Su. You know how much Lord Su cares about the twins, Shin Mingxi said. Oh, I see. Hui Yanyan was a little absent-minded. "Pam, what's wrong? Why do you look so pale? Are you sick?" Shin Mingxi was worried when he saw Hui Yanyan's pale face. "Oh, I'm fine. Maybe I just got carsick." "Oh, where are your mom and the others?" They're at their relative's place. They said they didn't want to stay long enough." Hui Yanyan continued to make up stories. "Oh, did you tell them about the house?" "Don't worry. Since she's your mom and your only family in the world, I won't neglect her." "I know." Hui Yanyan actually felt guilty. Shin Mingxi was indeed nice to her. He even wanted to buy a house for her mother without her consideration. But who knew that Shin Jiani didn't care about them at all? She was thinking about how to deal with Chin Chu and Huomian. She had it all planned out. With a ransom of $1 billion, why would they care about a house in Shin Mingxi's place? Uncle Shinai. Tian wanted to say something. However, Hui Yanyan interrupted her. Let's go to kindergarten. She doesn't seem to be feeling well. Why don't you stay with her for a day? Shin Mingxi tried to persuade her. No, I'm busy today and don't have time to stay with her. Mingxi, you should go to work. Don't delay your work. Hey. By the way, Yan, after I finish this project I will bring the results to my father and tell him about our marriage. I know there are a lot of rumors about you outside, so I can't let you follow me without any status. I will definitely give you and your child a stable home. Shin Mingxi, on the other hand, really felt that Hui Yanyan was a place of warmth and tenderness. He seemed to be taking the opportunity to weave a beautiful dream for himself. Unfortunately, there's no rush. We'll talk about it later. Hui Yanyan's expression was a little unnatural. After they got into the car, Hui Yanyan warned her daughter again, Tianun, you can't talk about your two younger sisters anymore, okay? Mom, I know. Tian, you have to remember that if you keep talking, you, Mom, and Grandma will all die. Even your Uncle Shin will be implicated. Do you understand? I know. Tian doesn't want Mommy to die, so she won't say anything. The child couldn't take the threat and didn't dare to say another word. After sending her daughter to kindergarten, Hui Yanyan still felt uneasy. Just then she received a call from her mother using a new number. Mom. Are you home yet? Did the child go to school? Hui Yanyan nodded. Yan, your Uncle Jun looks cold, but he's actually a good person. He's been taking care of me, so... Xinjiani stopped talking. Mom, don't say anything. I know. I won't tell anyone and I won't report you. You're my mother, I won't watch you die. Hui Yanyan's heart was heavy. It's good. By the way, I forgot to tell you something. What is it? Your Uncle Jun has already avenged you. I told him to do so. He's a good brother, right? Mom, what do you mean? What revenge? Hui Yanyan was confused. Chapter 2706. You silly child, why haven't you realized what's going on? Mom, I really don't understand what you mean. Hui Yanyan frowned slightly. Your scumbag ex-husband. How could I let him off the hook after what he did to you and what he did to you? Hui Yanyan's ex-husband was indeed a scumbag. When Hui Yanyan became rich and married young Master Shin, he tried to blackmail her from time to time. However, Hui Yanyan didn't let him get away with it. She even hired someone to beat him up. She thought that no matter how bad he was still Tiantian's biological father, so she didn't kill him. She didn't expect. Mom, what did He Yongjun do to him? Don't worry, he won't bother you anymore, Xinjiani said proudly. Mom, did you? Hui Yanyan didn't even dare to think about it. Yeah, it's completely taken care of, Xinjiani said. Hui Yanyan's heart sank. Mom, okay, I'll tell you the details later. Let's not contact each other for a few days. Qin Chu and Huasiqian are smarter than monkeys. I don't want to drag you into this, so you don't have to worry about our safety. I'll call you after Uncle Jun and I get the ransom and leave the country safely. Also, don't worry, Qin Chu and Huasiqian won't cause you any trouble after their children died. Your Uncle Jun promised me that after he gets the ransom he'll smear poison on the bodies of the two children. Before Hui Yanyan could say anything, Xinjiani continued, then I can avenge my son, see. Yanyan, I miss him. I miss your little brother. Mom, he's been gone for so long, let's not talk about the past. Revenge breeds revenge. I always wanted to trip up Huasiqian to avenge us, but in the end I couldn't do anything and almost got myself killed. You don't know how scared I was when Huasiqian kidnapped my Tian. In the end it was Huamin who saved me. What do you know? That was a show put on by Huamin and Huasiqian to trick you. I don't think so, Mom. Huamin isn't that bad. It's just, you've been treating him, that's enough, Yan. We've already come this far and there's no turning back. So, then Xinjiani hung up the phone. Mom. Hui Yanyan called her mom twice but didn't get a response. She felt bad when she heard the phone hang up. Right now she was already riding a tiger and had no way to back down. Moreover, she was placed in a difficult position like a machine. To be honest, she wasn't evil. She didn't want to be enemies with Huamin. But she didn't want her own mother to die. Her mother was right about one thing. It was too late now. If Qin Chu knew who kidnapped his daughter, he would skin her alive to vent his anger. Morning, inside a rural clinic, He Yongjun and Xinjiani brought the twins to the clinic. It was early in the morning and the clinic wasn't open yet. He Yongjun knocked for a long time before the doctor impatiently opened the door. It's too early. We're not open yet. Let's go back. We can't wait. Our child is injured, He Yongjun said coldly. The doctor opened his eyes and saw little Bean with blood on her head. Oh, the child is seriously injured. No, I'm a rural doctor. I can't treat her. Go to the hospital in the county. The doctor didn't want to take responsibility, so he refused. He was about to close the door when Hee Young-jun grabbed him. "What are you doing?" The doctor was angry. Chapter 2707. Today, whether you want to or not, you have to see me, Hee Young-jun said with a dark expression. "Why are you so unreasonable? Let me tell you, I'm not here to treat children. I'm just a village doctor. I can't treat people in the city. If something goes wrong, who's going to take responsibility? I'm doing this for your own good. It's only about 60 kilometers from here to the county. If it's further, it's about 90 kilometers to Sea City. There are big hospitals there with good equipment. The First Hospital or Southside Hospital are all famous. Why do you have to come to a small place like mine?" The village doctor was a middle-aged man in his 40s. He wore glasses and spoke in a local dialect. It was obvious that he wanted to shirk responsibility, so he sent them away. "Stop talking nonsense. Just do as I say. I'm not feeling well. I won't see you. This is my house. I call the shots." Hee Young-jun's rude attitude angered the village doctor. He refused to see Little Bean. The two sides were in a stalemate. Suddenly, Hee Young-jun took out a dagger and pressed it against the village doctor's neck. "Hey, what are you doing?" The village doctor's expression changed. "Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and treat the kid. Hero, let's talk nicely. Put down the knife." The village doctor was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Throughout the whole process, Shin Jiani didn't say a word. She watched the twins closely from behind, afraid that something would go wrong. Seeing that these people weren't easy to deal with, the village doctor stopped the stalemate. "I'm warning you. Don't play tricks. I'll put down the knife. Treat the kid. If you dare to scream, I'll kill your whole family. Yes, yes, yes. Hero, please spare me. I'll treat her." In the end, the village doctor was so scared that he opened the door with trembling hands and let them in. Little Bean, bear with it, Pudding encouraged her sister. "Sis, I'm fine. I have thick skin. It won't hurt." Little Bean was still smiling, afraid that her sister would be worried. Seeing this, Pudding felt even sadder. She really regretted not analyzing the situation calmly when she saw Tian being carried. She went out with her sister and fell into a trap. Now her sister was hurt. If something really happened to Little Bean this time, she would be dead. In that case, she wouldn't be able to live on. He wasn't afraid of his parents scolding, but he couldn't bear the fact that Little Bean was leaving. Since they were twins, they should live together and die together. After the four of them entered, the village doctor's wife also got up and quickly poured tea for them. Shin Jiani sat on the chair, fiddling with her long nails. Hee Young-jun was like a statue. His face was dark as he sat at the door, holding the shiny dagger in his hand. Pudding stood beside Little Bean. She watched as the doctor bandaged her wound. "Doctor, how is my sister's injury?" "Fortunately, it's not that deep. It's just that there's a lot of bleeding." "Stop the bleeding and give me an anti-inflammatory injection. I'm afraid she has tetanus." "Treat her properly," Pudding said. "That's not a problem. You won't get tetanus so easily. It's not like he was bitten by a dog," said the village doctor. Hee Young-jun shot him a murderous look and he didn't dare to say anything else. "There's no need for anti-inflammatory injections. Wrap it up and we'll leave." Seeing that it was already dawn outside, Hee Young-jun said vigilantly. "No, you must give my sister an anti-inflammatory injection," Pudding insisted. "Kid, don't be so shameless." Hee Young-jun was a bit anxious and lost his patience. Chapter 2708. That won't do. You have to give my sister an injection. Otherwise, I'd rather die here than go with you. Pudding already had the mentality of smashing a pot that had already been broken. She insisted on giving Little Bean an anti-inflammatory injection because she was afraid that her sister's wound would become infected. Secondly, she wanted to stall for time so that her parents could find them sooner. It was a calculated move. But Hee Young-jun wasn't stupid. "Cut the crap. If you want to die, I'll fucking bury you two right now. Even if it's just a corpse, your parents are willing to redeem it." Then Hee Young-jun stood up. "Big brother Jun, wait." Shin Jiani stood up. "What's wrong?" Hee Young-jun turned around and looked at Shin Jiani. "Big brother Jun, you're too impulsive. This kid has a point. Although dead bodies can be exchanged for money, you won't get 1 billion. Plus we have a follow-up plan. How about this? Let the village doctor give the kid an injection in her butt. It won't waste time and it can also reduce the inflammation. It's killing two birds with one stone. Yeah, that's a good idea. Doctor, give her an injection in her butt, Hyungjun ordered. Pudding was about to say something when Shinjiani looked at her. However, Shinjiani looked over and said, "Little brat, I know that you are smart and full of tricks. Don't think that we are fools and play tricks on us. Aren't you worried that your sister's wound will be infected? Intramuscular injection will work too. It won't waste time and we have agreed to your conditions. If you continue to nag us, both of you will die here." Hearing Shinjiani's words, Pudding didn't say anything else. She thought to herself that this woman was indeed smart and meticulous. If he wanted to find a way to escape, it would be impossible. The two of them worked well together. Hyungjun was brave but not smart, while Shinjiani was smart. The two of them were very difficult to deal with. Plus, their anti-reconnaissance skills were very strong. If this continued, the chances of them escaping were slim. Moreover, Pudding felt that even if they got the ransom, they wouldn't be able to escape death. Pudding didn't say anything else, afraid that she would anger these two fugitives. The village doctor was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Listening to their conversation, he knew that they had run into a criminal. They kept talking about death and corpses. After disinfecting Little Bean with trembling hands, the village doctor hurriedly prepared an anti-inflammatory needle for her butt. "Sis, I don't want to get a needle in my butt. It'll definitely hurt." Little Bean pouted. "Go ahead, it's good for you. Bear with it, it'll be over in a few seconds," Pudding comforted. "But your butt will be bruised and it'll be hard for you to walk on one leg. So painful. This is not a good idea." Then Little Bean looked at Shinjiani angrily. She knew that she was the one who came up with this lousy idea. After the injection, Little Bean grimaced in pain as Hyungjun dragged her out. Pudding followed closely behind. Shinjiani took out 500 yuan from her wallet and placed it on the table. "Take this money but don't talk nonsense. Otherwise, you know what I mean." I know. I won't say anything. I haven't seen you guys before." The village doctor was smart. He nodded and promised. "Yes." Shinjiani nodded with satisfaction and the four of them got in the car. "Big brother June, where are we going?" "Drive into the mountains. The terrain here is complicated. It's easy to defend and hard to attack. Even if our whereabouts are exposed, we won't be caught immediately." After Hyungjun spoke, he started the car. After hearing their conversation, Pudding suddenly felt that this time she and her sister might be doomed. Chapter 2709. Huamin was still searching aimlessly. An entire morning had passed but she still couldn't find anything. She squatted down at the intersection of a busy street and cried her heart out. Chinchu was behind her. He took off his jacket and put it on her. "Honey, if anything happens to our daughters, I don't want to live anymore." Huamin's voice was broken. Their voices were extremely unpleasant to the ears. "Don't say things like that. Our daughters will be fine. Trust me." Chinchu gently squatted down beside her. He opened the thermos and handed it to Huamin. Huamin forced herself to take a small sip. "Are you hungry? I'll take you to eat something." "You can't go on like this," Chinchu carefully coaxed her. Not far away, Hui Yanyan walked out of the mall and saw this scene. She clenched her fists tightly. She knew that Huamin must be feeling terrible after losing the kids. She also knew where the twins were, but she couldn't tell them. She wanted to go up and comfort them, but then she remembered that Chinchu and Huamin were too smart. If he accidentally said something wrong or if his expression was unnatural and caused suspicion, it would be equivalent to indirectly harming his mother. Although her mother was an evil woman, she still didn't want to lose her last family member in the world. With that thought, Hui Yanyan turned around and left. At this moment, Chinchu's phone rang. He picked it up, glanced at the caller ID and hung up. Zhang Manlin clenched her teeth and walked around Southside with a terrible expression. She called Chinchu all morning but he rejected her every time. That shouldn't be. Did she do something wrong? Or did he see something wrong? Just then she heard the conversation between two nurses. "Vice Director has been taking a lot of time off lately. She didn't come today." "Yeah, Vice Director is so dedicated and rarely misses work. If she didn't come, it must be something important." "Is she pregnant? Didn't the Vice President always want a second child? She only has 2 daughters and no son." "I don't know. Who knows? But if the Vice Director is pregnant, Zhang Manlin won't be able to play around anymore. Haha, she won't be able to keep her dream of being a mistress. The two nurses didn't notice Zhang Manlin, who had a terrible expression on her face. After they left, Zhang Manlin angrily called Husi Qian. Brother Qian. Lin Lin, go ahead. Is Huamin pregnant? Where did you get this information from? Husi Qian was stunned. Huamin asked for leave again today. I just called Qin Chu but he didn't pick up. I felt like something was wrong, so I wanted to ask you. Didn't you plant a spy in her house? If she was pregnant you would definitely know, right? Oh, I see. Then don't worry, she's not pregnant, Husi Qian said confidently. Really? Zhang Manlin was pleasantly surprised to hear Husi Qian say that Huamin wasn't pregnant. Yes, Kaiwei reports to me every day. She didn't find any traces of Mion's pregnancy. That's strange. If she's not pregnant, then what's up with them today? They lost their child, of course they're worried. What? Lost their child? Zhang Manlin was shocked. Yeah. Oh my. When did this happen? Yesterday. Then, the child is with you, Brother Qian? Zhang Manlin asked with a smile. Chapter 27:10. No, I don't have them. That's weird. Other than you, who else has the ability to kidnap the twins? Huh. You don't have to worry about that. You wouldn't know even if I told you. It's true. Haha, but it's a good thing that the twins are missing. Oh? Why? Those two brats are so annoying. Zhang Manlin gritted her teeth as she thought about how Little Bean made fun of her last time. Oh, I see. All right. Since you're free now, you can go back to your hometown or something. Otherwise, when things get busy later, you won't be able to go back. You're right. I'll go back tonight. Big Brother Qian, can you get me a car? Okay, I'll ask Aching to bring it to you later. Thank you, Big Brother Qian. Zhang Manlin happily went to ask for leave. That night, Aching was ordered to deliver a black Mercedes-Benz GLK to Zhang Manlin. Satisfied, she drove back to her hometown in the mountain village and bought a lot of things. It wasn't very far from her home. Zhang Manlin always wanted to buy a car but didn't dare to be too ostentatious. However, her vanity got the better of her and she wanted to impress her neighbors when she got home. Therefore, she asked Husi Qian to arrange a car for her. She was supposed to take the highway, but because a section of the highway was under temporary maintenance, she had to take the dirt road. At 6:30 p.m. she passed by a small town. She was hungry, so she parked her car on the side of the road and wanted to eat something. There weren't many choices in the small town. Zhang Manlin glanced at the little Yang noodle house and thought it was good. She wanted to eat a bowl of zhajiang noodles. However, the moment she walked in, she was dumbfounded. There were two tables of guests. One table was occupied by 4 migrant workers. They were eating noodles and chatting. The other table was occupied by 2 adults and 2 kids. The 4 of them didn't say a word and ate noodles in silence. She recognized the 2 kids. They were Huamin's twins. But why were they here? Little Bean's head was wrapped in a white bandage. She was eating noodles in silence. Pudding poured water for Little Bean and looked around. She could call for help in a crowded place, but she knew that if she did that, she wouldn't be able to save herself. Not only would he not be able to save himself, he might even implicate those innocent people. This He Yongjun was very skilled. Not only did he have a dagger, but he also had a pistol. There were even explosives in the car. Pudding turned around and glanced at Zhang Manlin. She froze for a second when she saw her. Then she turned around as if she didn't know them. As she was afraid. She was afraid that He Yongjun and Xinjiani would give themselves away. What would you like to eat? The owner asked Zhang Manlin. Boss, 1 bowl of noodles. Zhang Manlin smiled as she sat on the side. Xinjiani inadvertently raised her head and was so scared that she broke out in a cold sweat. Oh my god, this woman looks so much like that little bitch. Xinjiani said. Like who? He Yongjun asked cautiously. She looks like their mother. Xinjiani said. He Yongjun immediately became vigilant and reached for his pistol. Don't be nervous, Big Brother Jun. She just looks like her, she's not the real person. I've known that little bitch for many years. This girl looks young and doesn't look like her at all. Her nose is unnatural, it's a little weird. Xinjiani looked at Zhang Manlin carefully. She realized that she was very different from Huamin. She didn't have the aura that Huamin had. Little Bean raised her head and was surprised to see Zhang Manlin. Then, just as she was about to speak, Pudding immediately picked up a small piece of meat for her and said, "Little Bean, don't talk so much when you eat. Eat more meat and you'll recover faster." Chapter 27:11. Little Bean wasn't stupid. She immediately knew what was going on after Pudding reminded her, so she pretended not to know Zhang Manlin. Zhang Manlin wasn't stupid either. She was alone, so if she gave herself away she wouldn't have a good time. The person who dared to kidnap the twins in broad daylight was no ordinary person. The man in his 40s didn't look friendly. She was afraid that she would be in danger, so to protect herself she didn't say anything. The group of people ate in silence. Pudding lowered her head, her eyes darting around, trying to think of a way to use Zhang Manlin to save her. "I need to pee." Pudding suddenly raised her head and said confidently, "Little brat, you're too troublesome. Don't play tricks on me." Hyungjun was extremely impatient. "Can't you be reasonable? I can go to the washroom. Do you want me to suffocate to death?" Pudding retorted. "Let her go, Brother Jun. She can't run away in this wilderness. We don't have to keep an eye on her. If she doesn't come out in 5 minutes, we'll just kill the little one. After all, they are sisters. She won't leave her sister alone." Xinjiani could see clearly that the eldest sister was willing to risk everything for the sake of the second sister. She wasn't even afraid of death, let alone leaving her sister behind. "I won't leave my sister behind," Pudding emphasized again. Hearing her words, Hyungjun thought for a moment and said unwillingly, Come back quickly. If you don't want anything to happen to your sister, remember, don't play tricks on me or else I'll kill the little one immediately." When Pudding got up, Little Bean held onto her sister's hand in fear and refused to let go. Yes, she was very afraid of being abandoned by her sister. Although she knew that her sister wouldn't, she was still very worried and insecure. "Little Bean, I'm just going to pee. I'll be back soon. Don't worry, I won't leave you behind." Pudding comforted her gently. Little Bean nodded with tears in her eyes and finally let go of her sister's hand. Then Pudding turned around and walked towards the washroom. When she passed by Zhang Manlin, she purposely slowed down her pace, trying to get her attention. Zhang Manlin wasn't stupid. She saw that Pudding was deliberately stalling, so she paid attention to her. Not long after Pudding entered the washroom, Zhang Manlin pretended to answer a call and got up. "Hey Mom, I'm almost home. Don't rush me. I'm starving. I'll eat some noodles on the way. Don't worry about me." Zhang Manlin's accent was very old-fashioned. She made the call as she walked towards the bathroom. It didn't attract Xinjiani's attention at all. She used the excuse of answering the phone to divert their attention. When they got close to the bathroom, Pudding saw Zhang Manlin come in and whispered, "Come in and close the door." "Hey, what's going on?" Zhang Manlin pretended not to know that they were kidnapped. "Little Bean and I were kidnapped. The people outside are my daddy's enemies. They're also outlaws. They want to use us to get money from my daddy, and then kill us." "That's scary." Zhang Manlin was shocked. "Miss Zhang now. I need your help." She addressed Zhang Manlin as Miss Zhang, which made it clear that they weren't close. Pudding was a very proud child. She wouldn't flatter Zhang Manlin just because she needed help. "How can I help you?" Zhang Manlin looked at the child in front of her and asked. Chapter 27:12. It's simple. All you have to do is call my dad and tell him where we are. He'll find us as long as he knows the approximate area. "That won't work. We're already quite far from Sea City. I heard that the city was sealed off. How did you guys get out?" Zhang Manlin was curious. "This man is very cunning. He took us on a dirt road and a mountain road. Took us a long time to get out. Plus, this place is very secluded," Pudding explained. "That's even more difficult. Even if I tell your dad, you guys would have been taken to the next destination by the time he gets here." "Yes, but there's no better way." Pudding lowered her head and analyzed. "I can call for reinforcements. My hometown is in this area. I know a lot of people here. I can call for reinforcements." "Absolutely not." "Why not?" Zhang Manlin asked. "That man has knives, guns, and explosives. If you bring reinforcements, you'll only implicate innocent people. I don't want that to happen." Pudding had a lot of considerations. She didn't want to implicate more people because of her and her sister. When they were kidnapped by Huasi, they almost killed that big dumb guy. Pudding still had lingering fears. But If we let you guys get taken away, it'll be even harder to rescue you. Pudding looked at Zhang Manlin's watch. There's not much time left. I have to tell you quickly. Miss Zhang, since your hometown is here, then you should know where the next destination is after this town. I know. It's Peach Blossom Village. Is that the only one? Pudding asked. Yes. This is a mountainous area. Peach Blossom Village is the only way to get there if he keeps going down. How far is it? About 50 miles. Very good, we should be able to make it in time. Just tell my dad to bring people to Peach Blossom Village. Don't worry, my dad is a big shot. He can even mobilize helicopters. Also, Handsome Sue will definitely have many ways to save us. You just need to inform them. But Zhang Manlin was about to say something. Pudding interrupted her and continued, Miss Zhang, I won't let you help us for free. Although I'm a child, I know how to repay kindness. You know why Little Bean and I teased you and targeted you before. I won't say too much, but if you help us this time, we definitely won't treat you badly. You should know my daddy's wealth. When the time comes, whether you want money, a car, a house, or a job, as long as it's within his means, he'll agree to it. I haven't thought about that. Even if it's a child I don't know, I won't just stand by and watch. I'm a very soft-hearted person, Zhang Manlin explained. You don't have to tell me these things. I want you to do what I want you to do right now. Call the phone right away. When I'm out, you have to call my dad. Don't call the police. Thank you. With that, Pudding turned around and walked out. Seeing Pudding come back from the washroom, Youngjun's expression didn't change. He lowered his head and continued eating. Big Brother June, should we pack something for dinner? This place looks very desolate. If we keep walking like this, we might not even have food at the next stop, Shinjiani asked worriedly. No, it's too troublesome to bring food. There's still a lot of bread, ham and water in the car. Are you planning to fight a long battle? Shinjiani was shocked. Chinchu isn't that easy to deal with. I've investigated him. We have to be more careful. Let's go. With that, Youngjun stood up, grabbed Pudding with one hand and walked out. Shinjiani also grabbed Little Bean and dragged her out. Not far away, Zhang Manlin watched the scene in silence. Chapter 27:13. As she watched the twins disappear into the distance, she took out her phone and dialed a number. Hello? Is this Big Brother Chen? Linlin, what is it? Big Brother Chen, I saw the twins. Where are they? In a small town on my way back to my hometown. What a coincidence. Huasiqian put down the cigar in his hand, slightly surprised. He knew that the twins were kidnapped by Shinjiani and her lover. But he didn't expect Zhang Manlin to see them. It was too much of a coincidence. Yeah, I was shocked. Seriously, what should I do now? I don't know which one is the older one or the younger one, but she's smart. She saw me in the washroom and asked me to call her father for help. She said she won't mistreat me. I want to ask for your opinion, Big Brother Chen. Linlin, what do you think? Huasiqian smiled slightly. Qin Chu must be worried sick right now after losing his daughter. If I really did provide him with information about his daughter, maybe he'd have a better impression of me. Then I'd be able to develop a relationship with him. It'd be good for you, right? Zhang Manlin was still thinking about developing a relationship with Qin Chu. Through the phone, she couldn't see the contempt on Huasiqian's face. Big Brother Chen, what do you think? If I tell him, he'll be grateful, right? Zhang Manlin's voice was tinged with excitement. Linlin, you're still too young, Huasiqian said meaningfully. Big Brother Chen, what do you mean? I don't quite understand. Zhang Manlin couldn't read Huasiqian's mind and didn't dare to act rashly. What I mean is, Linlin, maybe Qin Chu never fully trusted you. So no matter what you do, he won't appreciate it. Even if you save the twins, he might not like you. Maybe you'll only get some money and nothing else. But you don't need money. I can give you money, right? Big Brother Chen, you're right. Then what should I do? So I don't have to care about the twins? No, you want to take care of it. But can't you use another method? Huasiqian began to hint at him vaguely. What is it, Brother Chen? Please enlighten me. Huasiqian raised his right hand and rubbed his temples with his slender fingers before letting out a long sigh. Linlin, Brother Chen and the others are getting close. If Qin Chu is distracted by this, it'll be a great opportunity for me. Big Brother Chen, you mean hi? Zhang Manlin suddenly understood. And don't worry about it. Just do whatever you can. Okay, I understand. Thank you, Brother Chen. Alright, there's something else I want to tell you. Go ahead, big brother Qian, Zhang Manlin said politely, not daring to offend Husi Qian. The twins are very smart. If you didn't ask for help for them, then you should think of a way to get yourself out of this situation. Otherwise, they won't let you get away with it. Alright, I understand. After hanging up, Zhang Manlin gritted her teeth and didn't say anything else. On the other side, after hanging up, Aching asked anxiously, Boss, what do you mean by this? You don't understand, do you? Boss, you've always loved Miss Hua. Why would you? Aching didn't finish his sentence, but it was obvious that Huasiqian knew what he wanted to ask. On the phone, Huasiqian not only didn't let Zhang Manlin save the twins, but he also told her to buy time. Chapter 27:14. Aching didn't understand this move at all. They're Mion's children, but they're not mine. I'm not Suyu. I'm not so great as to love her with someone else's child. So, you want to take this opportunity to get rid of the twins? Aching's heart sank. He didn't expect his boss to be so cruel this time. He wouldn't even let a 3.5-year-old kid go. No, I didn't say I wanted to get rid of them. As for how Zhang Manlin will understand, that's her business. Since she ran into the twins, it doesn't matter if we save them or not. It's still a problem. If Zhang Manlin kills the twins and Miss Hua finds out, that's Zhang Manlin's own actions. She loves Qinchu so much that she killed them. It has nothing to do with me. Huasiqian denied all responsibility. Aching couldn't help but admire his boss's scheming. He always used the most brilliant method to kill with a borrowed knife. Plus, he was so vague about what he said. No matter what Zhang Manlin did, Huasiqian would never admit that it was his order. This was a brilliant move. However, it was also extremely vicious. Zhang Manlin wanted to call Qinchu because she wanted to take credit in front of Qinchu. However, Huasiqian wasn't wrong. If she didn't get any benefits from helping the twins, then she would have to give up. Then wouldn't she have helped them for nothing? Plus, the twins didn't like her before. Why should she save them? However, if she didn't save them now, the twins would definitely tell Qinchu that they ran into her on the way. So just as Huasiqian said, it was Zhang Manlin's choice whether to save them or not. In the end, Zhang Manlin made up her mind and made a phone call. Hello, is this your cousin? I'm your sister Lin. Yes, Taoyuan village. Yes, listen to me. Don't act rashly, okay? Take them and leave. Don't mess with that man. Yes, that's it. Go, I'll be there in a minute. Then Zhang Manlin put down the phone. He had an idea. This time she wouldn't listen to Huasiqian, but she wouldn't listen to Qinchu either. She wanted to decide her own fate. City Bureau Su Yu, Tang Chuan, Qin Ning, Wei Liao, Jiang Shaowei, Zhu Lingling, Qinchu and Huamin. Huamian was both physically and mentally exhausted, and her face was pale. Mian, you can't do this. Huamian, and you can't help but collapse. Heartbroken, Zhu Te's heart ached. Suddenly Hua's heart beat of T2's. She immediately followed him. If we still can't find the kids, Mian will go crazy. Zhu Lingling said with tears in her eyes. We want to. We've tried our best, but there's still no news. Did we really kidnap them? But the kidnappers haven't called. It's already past the golden 12 hours. If the kidnappers aren't after money, are they here for revenge? Could it be that the children have already? Tang Chuan paused. Qin Ning punched Tang Chuan on the shoulder. Go to hell. Don't say things like that. I'll break up with you. No. I'm just guessing. Calm down, Ning Ning. I'm just saying. Tang Chuan realized he had said something wrong and immediately tried to appease Qin Ning. You can't just say things like that. The twins will come back safe and sound. They will. Qin Ning leaned on Tang Chuan's shoulder and sobbed. Qinchu, do you have any other ideas? Su Yu looked up at Qinchu, crestfallen. Chapter 27:15. Let's wait. We can only wait. Qinchu's confidence took a hit. He thought that the kidnappers would call him in 12 hours, but, seeing Huamin on the verge of breaking down, Qinchu wasn't in a good mood either. His mood was similar to Huamin's. However, he was a man and had to carry the family on his shoulders. He couldn't fall at this time. We can't wait. I'm dying of anxiety. Su Yu stood up and paced around the office anxiously. What the hell? There are so many surveillance cameras in the city, but they couldn't catch the kidnapper. Wei Liao was puzzled. This shows how good the kidnapper is at avoiding detection. Tang Chuan added. I still don't believe that Hua Xiqian has nothing to do with this. Even if he didn't do it, he should at least know about it. He has so many spies, but it doesn't make sense for him to say that he doesn't know anything. Although we're looking for the kids in secret, there's no way that Hua Xiqian doesn't know anything about it. Wei Liao continued to analyze. Damn it, I should go fight him. Upon hearing that it had something to do with Hua Xiqian, Su couldn't stay calm anymore. His eyes were bloodshot. Lord Su, calm down. Tang Chuan stood up and pulled Su back. How can I calm down? We don't even know if the kids are dead or alive. How can I calm down? Su roared. Qin Chu slowly raised his head. Thank you for working with me to find the kids. From now on, I don't need your help anymore. Qin Chu, what do you mean? Su was stunned at first, then he became furious. What I mean is, I'll look for my own daughter myself. I know you have good intentions, but there are so many people. If we continue to search like this, not only will we not find any clues, we'll also alert the enemy. That's why the kidnappers are so cautious. They don't even dare to make a phone call. Why don't we make a small commotion? Perhaps we'll get news soon. After speaking, Qin Chu got up and walked out. Qin Chu, you bastard. What right do you have to stop me from interfering? Get back here. Upon hearing Qin Chu's words, Su was so angry that he jumped up and scolded him. But Qin Chu still didn't look back. Motherfucker, you bastard. Su tried to chase after him. However, he was held back by Tang Chuan and Wei Liao. Lord Su, don't be rash. Don't hold me back, I'm not crazy. It's Qin Chu who's crazy. Motherfucker. What the hell is he thinking? What right does he have to stop us from interfering, huh? Su was still yelling, unconvinced. After Qin Chu left, he called one of his subordinates. Keep a close eye on Hua Xiqian. Track all of his calls and meetings with the outside world and report to me carefully. Yes, President Qin. Just as Wei Liao said, Qin Chu didn't believe that Hua Xiqian didn't know anything. However, he knew that Hua Xiqian was very sly and cunning. He wouldn't show his tail so easily, so he had to wait for the right opportunity. After hanging up, he watched as Jiang Shaowei helped Huamin back from the bathroom. Huamin's face was pale. Min, how are you? Can you hold on? Qin Chu walked over and held Huamin in his arms. Huamin shook her head and said in a hoarse voice, Honey, I'm fine. Finding the kids is more important. You haven't been feeling well recently. Why don't I take you to South Side? No, I want to continue looking for the twins, Huamin insisted. Qin Chu, Huamian is already. Jiang Shaowei wanted to tell him that Huamin was pregnant with a second child. Chapter 27:16. However, she was once again interrupted by Huamin. I'm slightly hungry. Can you buy me something to eat? Okay, wait for me. Jiang Shaowei knew that Huamin didn't want her to say anything, so she turned around and went downstairs. What did Dr. Jiang want to say? Qin Chu cleverly looked into Huamin's eyes. Shaowei said that I'm very weak right now, so she doesn't want me to continue the search with you. But, our daughters are my life, so I can't just sit in the hospital and wait for death. Even if I die of exhaustion, I have to continue the search. I won't give up on any hope or opportunity. I understand. Go. I'll take you to the lounge for a while. Qin Chu's heart ached as he helped Huamin to a quiet lounge in the bureau. In another room, Su was still scolding Qin Chu for not letting them get involved. Su, are you done? My brother lost the kids, he's their biological father. He's more worried than anyone else. He doesn't want us to get involved not because he doesn't know what's good for him, but because he's worried about many things. Please use your brain. We've mobilized so many people to look for the kids and alerted the kidnappers. They wouldn't dare to call my brother for a ransom. If this drags on, my niece's safety will be in danger. Ning Ning, you only care about your brother, but you have to understand Lord Su's feelings. The kids grew up by his side. Even if Lord Su isn't their biological father, he's more than their biological father. We all know how Lord Su treats the kids these past few years. Now that the kids are missing, how can he not get involved? Let's put ourselves in his shoes. Qin Chu has his own ideas, but we have to understand Lord Su's feelings. Wei Liao said this because Tang Chuan didn't dare to get close to the angry Qin Ning. He was afraid that she would throw a tantrum. Wei Liao couldn't help but stand up for Su Yu. It was pardonable. After all, they were friends. Hey, what do you mean by that? Qin Ning felt a little uncomfortable. All right, all of you stop arguing, will you? What do you mean now? Are we rebelling? Huasiqian is laughing at us and the kidnappers are laughing at us too. We don't even know where Pudding and Little Bean are. Why are we fighting with our own people? Tang Chuan was also dumbfounded and yelled angrily. I have to find the child. You guys can stay out of it, but I can't leave it be. I can't ever. With that, Siyu pushed Wei Liao away and rushed out of the police station. The remaining people looked at each other and didn't say a word. The atmosphere was very awkward. When Gao Ran came back, the office was empty. Hey, I just went out for a meeting. Why is there no one when I come back? Gao Ran was puzzled. Don't mention it. Qin Chu and Siyu got into a fight. Qin Chu and Hu Mian are in the lounge now. Everyone else left, Zhu Lingling said with a pout. Gao Ran heard this and walked towards the lounge. Before Jiang Shaowei and Wei Liao left, they bought a bowl of porridge for Hu Min. When Gao Ran went in, Qin Chu was carefully feeding Hu Min porridge. The gentleness in his eyes was a special right that only Hu Min had. Gao Ran walked in. Mian, you're not feeling well. Why don't you go back and rest with Lingling? Leave this to me and Qin Chu. Chapter 27:17. No, I want to stay with you guys until my kids come back. Hu Min was determined. Don't try to talk her out of it. We've known each other for a long time. You guys know Mian's temper well, Qin Chu said. Zhu Lingling nodded. I know. Mian, you have to take care of yourself. Don't let anything happen to you before the kids are found. Zhu Lingling's heart ached for Hu Mian. I'm fine, Lingling. I can still hold on. Hu Min squeezed out a smile. Gao Ran drove Zhu Lingling home. On the way back, Zhu Lingling changed from her usual nosy self and was extremely quiet. Honey, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well? Gao Ran asked as he drove. Do you even need to ask? Of course I'm not feeling well. Zhu Lingling pouted. You're still worried about the twins. Of course my future daughter-in-law is missing. How can I not be worried? Are you serious? The kids are so young and don't even know what daughter-in-law means. That's enough. What do you know? Our Buyun likes Little Bean very much. How old is our son? What are you talking about? Gao Ran almost spat out blood. I'm telling the truth. So when you drive me home, be careful. Don't let our son know that Little Bean is missing. If he knows, he'll be so worried that he won't be able to eat or sleep well. He won't even be in the mood to go to kindergarten. Is that necessary? Gao Ran obviously didn't believe her. Just be careful. Listen to whatever I tell you. Zhu Lingling rolled her eyes at Gao Ran. At the Gao mansion, when Zhu Lingling returned home, her mother-in-law was watching TV with her grandson. Mom, the two greeted. You're back. You're just in time. I'm leaving now. Mom, why don't you leave after dinner? I bought some vegetables. Zhu Lingling tried to persuade her to stay. No. Your dad is at home and hasn't eaten yet. Really? Then let the driver send Dad here to have a bite. Gao Ran suggested. No, your dad has been a vegetarian recently, so he can't eat with you guys. My grandson is growing now, so I have to make more meat for him. You guys go ahead, I'm going back. After that, Gao Ran's mother was driven away by the driver. Then I'm going to cook. Are you eating at home? Zhu Lingling glanced at Gao Ran and asked. Gao Ran lowered his head and looked at his watch. Can you finish it in half an hour? I have to go back to the bureau in an hour. Then I'll make the braised noodles. Without waiting for Gao Ran to reply, Zhu Lingling took off her jacket and carried the vegetables into the kitchen. Son, come here and call me Daddy. Gao Ran beckoned Gao Buyun over with his finger. To his surprise, Gao Buyun glanced at Gao Ran helplessly. How old are you? Don't you think you're childish? Whoa, I say. You're all grown up now. You don't even like calling me Daddy anymore. Gao Ran scolded. No, I mean, what era are we in now? Who still calls me Daddy? Then what do you call me? Gao Ran was surprised. Daddy, of course. Didn't you see the twins call Uncle Qin Daddy? Don't you think it's very fashionable? Gao Ran shook his head. I don't think so. So, you're really behind the times. I have a classmate in my class who comes from a wealthy family. I heard that his ancestors are from Aizenjoro. Whoa, the royal family of the Qing dynasty? Gao Ran interrupted. Yeah, that's why they all call their dad Mom. That's more fashionable. Son, do you know about Little Bean? Since Little Bean was mentioned, Gao Ran decided to test his son's reaction. Chapter 27:18. What's up with Little Bean? Gao Buyan was watching Peter Pan's cartoon without blinking. Hearing his dad's words, he immediately turned his head, looking nervous. You haven't heard anything about Little Bean? Your mom didn't say a word? Gao Ran continued to probe. What kind of person are you? You're a man, why are you so hesitant? Just say what you want to say. Look at Uncle Chin, he never talks nonsense. Hey, why are you teaching your old man a lesson, brat? Are you the dad or am I the dad? After being lectured by his son, Gao Buyan didn't feel good. Dad, don't waste time. Get to the point. What happened to Little Bean? Did Auntie Huamin beat her up? Gao Buyan guessed. No, it's much more serious than that. Hearing that, Gao Buyan turned off the TV and walked up to his dad. Hurry up and tell me. Don't beat around the bush. Ahem. Then I'll tell you. Calm down. Don't get agitated. Tell me. I won't get agitated. Gao Buyan was anxious. At this moment, Gao Ran sneakily turned his head and looked at the kitchen door. Zhu Lingling didn't look like she was going to come out, so he lowered his voice and said to his son, Son, Little Bean is missing. What? Gao Buyan raised his voice. Lower your voice. Don't let your mom hear you. She didn't want me to tell you because she didn't want you to be distracted. Gao Ran put a finger to his lips. Dad, are you sure you're not lying to me? I'm telling you, April Fool's Day is over. If you're lying to me, I won't forgive you. Gao Buyan obviously didn't believe him. When did I lie to you? Gao Ran said angrily. Then what happened? How could she be missing? Where's Pudding? Together. She's missing. Then, does Wei Yunchu know? Gao Buyan asked. How would I know? It's none of your business. Gao Ran rolled his eyes. Oh my god. Why didn't you tell me this earlier? I just saw you. I've been so busy these past few days. Dad, where did they go missing? How long have they been missing? Were they kidnapped or abducted by human traffickers? Or did they get lost? What's the nature of the kidnapping? Gao Buyan was indeed the son of a policeman. His logical thinking ability was very strong. Gao Buyan asked a series of questions. Gao Ran couldn't answer. The situation isn't optimistic. It's been more than a day and a night. Your Uncle Chin and Auntie Huamin are worried sick. We've been trying our best to find her, but there's no news. There's no lock either. We don't know if she's been kidnapped or kidnapped. Dad, what kind of police officer are you? How can you not find any clues for such an important case? Gao Buyan complained to his father. I'm more anxious than you, you little brat. It's not that I'm not qualified as a police officer. It's just that this case is really complicated and confusing. We're guessing that the possibility of revenge is higher. Your Uncle Chin is in a high position and attracts a lot of attention. He has a lot of enemies, so, if their enemies seek revenge, won't they be in danger? Gao Buyan's expression changed. Yes, it's very dangerous. That's why we're all worried. What's the point of worrying? Hurry up and find them. Gao Buyan stood on the sofa and ordered his father excitedly. I'm looking for them. I haven't stopped. Time to eat, you too. Zhu Lingling walked out with noodles. Gao Buyan jumped down from the sofa and picked up his bag to leave. Son, where are you going? Zhu Lingling was surprised. Chapter 27:19. I'm going to find Little Bean. Find Little Bean? Zhu Lingling was surprised at first and then gave Gao Ran a dirty look. Did you leak it out, you stupid car mouth? Honey, I didn't mean to. I didn't expect our son to be so agitated. You're so mean. I'll teach you a lesson. Then Zhu Lingling rushed to the door and stopped her son. Buyan, where are you going to find Little Bean? Little Bean might be lost and can't find her home. I know her favorite places. She likes amusement parks, Haagen-Dazs, grilled meat, cream cake, Hong Kong-style milk tea, steamed buns, shrimp dumplings. Anyway, I'm going to find her. Son, listen to mommy. Little Bean isn't lost. She might have been taken away by bad guys. You're a kid, you can't even protect yourself. How are you going to protect Little Bean? Your daddy is a police officer and there are so many uncles at the police station. They're all very brave and will definitely catch the bad guys, okay? Then tell Dad to go now. But your dad hasn't eaten yet. It'll be too late by the time he finishes eating. Go and find her now. Gao Buyan was very stubborn. Honey, what are you waiting for? Go and find her. Then my noodles. Gao Ran had been busy the whole day and was starving. Looking at the noodles his wife had just made, he felt tired and hungry. What noodles? Don't you know which one is more important? Zhu Lingling scolded. I'll go back to the police station now. Gao Ran stood up and walked out. Dad, go ahead, son. Gao Ran thought his son was regretting his decision because he didn't eat. Gao Buin said, Dad, you have to do your best to find her, okay? You have to find Little Bean and Pudding. Otherwise, Uncle Qin and Auntie Huamin won't be able to live. Brat, now you know how to feel sorry for your in-laws, Gao Ran said jokingly, then hurriedly took the police uniform downstairs. Son, Dad went to look for her. Don't worry. Let's eat. Mom, I'm not hungry. I'm not eating. With that, Gao Buin ran to the cabinet in the living room and took down the teddy bear that Little Bean had left for him last time. Perhaps it was because he was reminded of her. Gao Buin looked at Little Bear as tears rolled down his cheeks. Son, are you okay? Seeing her son crying so sadly, Zhu Lingling was also frightened. Mom, do you think something happened to Little Bean? No, your Uncle Qin is very powerful. Everyone is looking for him. I believe he will be back soon. I hope so. Gao Buin was not in the mood for the whole night. He didn't eat dinner either. No matter how Zhu Lingling tried to coax him, he didn't listen. Children's minds were especially pure. All of their happiness and unhappiness were shown on their faces. Seeing her son so worried about Little Bean, Zhu Lingling was both happy and sad. She also hoped that this storm would pass quickly and that the twins would come back safely. Otherwise, Qin Chu and Huamin wouldn't be able to live. In the Wei manor, son, it's so late. Why are you not sleeping? What are you doing downstairs? Jiang Xiaowei and Wei Liao were chatting in the living room when they saw Wei Yunchu come downstairs in his pajamas. Mom, you lost Pudding, right? Chapter 27:20. Ahem. Who told you that? Jiang Xiaowei felt awkward. Don't lie to me. I can tell from the look in your eyes that it's true. Son, how did you know? Wei Liao was also curious. He and Xiaowei rarely talked about this at home. Even if they did, they wouldn't talk about it in front of their son. How did he know? My good friend called me and told me everything. Your good friend? Gao Buin? Wei Liao probed. Wei Yunchu nodded. Just then Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei looked at each other. You two don't have to hide it from me. I know what I need to know. I just want to ask. How's the situation? Any clues or progress? Wei Yunchu asked calmly. Not yet, Wei Liao said. Wei Yunchu lowered his head in disappointment. No one knew what he was thinking. Son, don't worry. Pudding and Little Bean will be fine. Dad, you should tell Uncle Qin and Auntie Mion these comforting words. I don't need them. I know Pudding. He's very smart. Even if she was kidnapped, she would find a way to escape. Jiang Xiaowei was dumbfounded. She didn't expect her son to be so calm at such a young age. Mom, you guys should go to bed. Let me know if you have any news about them. Jiang Xiaowei nodded. Wei Yunchu slowly turned around and went upstairs with a heavy heart. Half an hour ago, Gao Buyuan called him and told him everything. After explaining the situation, Wei Yunchu was indeed in a bad mood. However, he was very rational and could analyze the situation. Therefore, he didn't show much emotion. However, it didn't mean that he wasn't worried. His worries were no less than Gao Buyuan's. Honey, do you think our son really likes pudding? Nonsense. How old is the kid? What does he know about liking? Wei Liao retorted. Don't look down on our son. He's very smart. Besides, the children nowadays are so smart. They're all cunning. That's true. The twins are the best kids I've ever seen. It's a pity. Wei Liao sighed slightly. She had known Qin Chu and Huamin for a long time and had a good relationship with them. Now that they had lost their children, they must be very sad. Forget it, don't talk about it. The more you talk about it, the sadder you feel. I don't even have the heart to comfort Mion. Jiang Xiaowei said sadly. Evening Peach Blossom Village Farmer Hostel. Originally, He Yongjun did not plan to stay overnight in the Peach Blossom Village. However, he did not know why, but when he passed by the Peach Blossom Village, a tire suddenly burst. He Yongjun had no choice but to stop and rest for a while. After fixing the car, it was already dark. The mountain roads were already rugged and difficult to traverse. After dark, it became even more dangerous. Thus, they decided to stay in a farmhouse for the night. After a simple meal, they locked the twins in a small room and locked them up. The two of them stayed in the room outside the small room. He Yongjun still could not change his bad habit of drinking and eating meat. Sis, come here. Little Bean waved her hand quietly. Pudding stood at the door and looked outside. After making sure they were not watching her, she walked over. Sis, you went to the washroom to see Zhang Manlin at noon, right? Yes. Pudding nodded. But why isn't Daddy here yet? That damned woman Zhang Manlin doesn't want to help us at all? Little Bean asked in despair. Chapter 27-21. I don't know. I'm not sure what she'll do, Pudding said in a low voice. Sis, you shouldn't have asked her for help. You should know that Zhang Manlin hates us to death. She won't help us, especially after I tricked her to death. Pudding scolded Zhang Manlin angrily, cursing her bad luck in her heart. It was like meeting an old friend in a foreign land who turned out to be an enemy. It was very frustrating. You can't say that. It's true that she doesn't like us, but she's also an adult. She must weigh the pros and cons. What do you mean, sis? I don't understand. Pudding's words were too vague for Pudding to understand. Let me explain it to you like this. The old woman who kidnapped us is also a bitch. Zhang Manlin is also a bitch. The two of them are competing to see who's more bitchy. Pudding, Daddy told us before. You might have forgotten. What did he say? Pudding was confused. Daddy had told them so many things. How could she know which sentence her sister was referring to? Choose the lesser of two evils. In comparison, Zhang Manlin is the one that can make us safer. Because the two criminals who kidnapped us are trying to kill us. If we continue to follow them, our lives will be in danger. Although Zhang Manlin hates us to death, don't forget that she's always had feelings for Daddy. So we can't rule out the possibility that she'll take credit for saving us from Daddy. Sis, you're right. But what if she hates us and doesn't do anything? What if she pretends not to see us? Then we're still dead. Pudding thought that Zhang Manlin was a coward with a bad character. She wouldn't take the risk and offend He Yongjun for them. No, she won't do nothing, Pudding retorted. Sis, why are you so sure that she'll do something? She's not that kind. I know. It's not that I'm sure she'll find her conscience, but if she doesn't do anything, she'll be worried. If we're rescued, then we'll definitely tell Daddy about this. Then not only will Daddy not be grateful to her, but he'll also be angry if he finds out that she didn't save us. She won't have a good ending. Zhang Manlin may not be the smartest, but she's not stupid either. She can see the situation, so I'm guessing she'll do something. That makes sense. But the kidnappers are outlaws. They have knives, guns, and explosives. Zhang Manlin isn't a Secret Service agent. How could she save us so easily? That's not what we need to worry about. Anyway, don't sleep too soundly tonight. There might be some movement in the second half of the night. Pudding, on the other hand, was optimistic. Even if Zhang Manlin didn't tell her dad, she would still do something. In the end, Pudding was right. 1:30 am was the time when people were most sleepy. The entire farmhouse was quiet. Zhang Manlin walked up the mountain from the back door. Someone was waiting for her at the door. Cousin, you're here. Where are they? How are they? Zhang Manlin asked in a low voice. Don't worry. I put a lot of sleeping pills in their dinner. The man is sleeping like a pig. I'm afraid they won't wake up. Okay, that's good. Where are the two kids? Zhang Manlin asked. Chapter 27-22. The kids are in a small room inside. The door is locked and they have the keys. Go and find the keys. I want to take the kids away. Okay, wait for me. Cousin. Zhang Manlin's cousin was also from this area, so he had colluded with the owner of the farmhouse in Taoyuan village. He put sleeping pills in He Yongjun and Pudding's dinner. The kids had the same dinner as He Yongjun and Pudding, so Zhang Manlin was sure that they were unconscious. Zhang Manlin's cousin took the keys from He Yongjun's shirt pocket and took the twins out. What Zhang Manlin didn't expect was that Pudding suspected something was wrong and didn't eat dinner with Pudding even though she was hungry. They had hidden the food for dinner. On the surface, it looked like they had eaten, but in fact they hadn't touched it at all. When they were carried out, the two children were well aware of the situation. Cousin, I put the kids in your car. Where are you going? You don't have to worry about that. Here, take this. Zhang Manlin took out 20,000 yuan and handed it to her cousin. To the people in the small village, this was a huge sum of money. Cousin, I heard that you're rich in the city, but I didn't know you were so rich. Shut up, take the money and leave. Don't stay here and don't tell anyone about this or we'll both die. Do you understand? Is it that serious? Who are those two kids? Zhang Manlin's cousin was curious. Don't ask what you're not supposed to ask. Why are you asking so many questions? Zhang Manlin was impatient. Ah, I know, cousin. By the way, the owner here is still working. Can you? Zhang Manlin's cousin reached out his hand again. A man who is never content is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. Zhang Manlin glared at him in disgust. But she still took out another 10,000 yuan so that she wouldn't delay things. Here, give this 10,000 yuan to them. Also, remember what I said. Leave this place immediately and run as far as you can. Don't come back for a while. Hey, cousin. Hurry up and leave. Zhang Manlin nodded and drove the twins away. Fearing that He Yongjun and the others would chase after her, Zhang Manlin didn't choose the road back to the city. Instead, she continued on the difficult mountain path. She also calculated that after 6 to 7 hours of running, the sun would rise and she would be hundreds of miles away. At that time, even if the kidnappers woke up, it would be too late. Even if they came in a hurry, it would be impossible for them to know which path she took. This was a path Zhang Manlin was most familiar with since she was young. Early morning, He Yongjun felt something was wrong when he woke up. He pushed Xinjiani. Wake up. Brother Jun, what's wrong? It's already 7:30. Ah, it's so late. I remember setting the alarm for 6 o'clock. Xinjiani took out her phone in a daze. He Yongjun didn't have time to put on his clothes. He glanced at the lock on the door. Oh no, the child is gone. What? Xinjiani panicked. The two of them rushed over and opened the door of the hut. Inside, it was empty. How could this be? Xinjiani didn't know what had happened. There's something wrong with this farmhouse. He Yongjun raised his gun angrily and rushed out. However, he found that there was no one here. The owner was gone. Seems like someone tampered with our food last night. I didn't expect it. He Yongjun said with a dark face. Brother Jun, what should we do now? Xinjiani was scared out of her wits. They knew better than anyone what it meant to lose their child. Chapter 27-23. Hurry up and run. We can't stay here for long. Then He Yongjun took his jacket and walked into the car. Xinjiani thought that He Yongjun would be furious when he found out that the children were gone. He might even kill some innocent villagers out of anger. But she didn't expect him to be worried about whether he could escape. After getting into the car, He Yongjun drove along the mountain road. Big brother Jun, who do you think saved the children? Could it be Qin Chu and Huamin, that pair of bitches? It shouldn't be. If it was, we wouldn't be so safe. Someone must have secretly taken the children away. Oh, I think it's the woman we saw at lunch in town. Xinjiani reacted quickly. She immediately realized that it might have something to do with the woman they met at lunch. I told you to be careful. You fucking told me that it was fine. He Yongjun glared at Xinjiani angrily. I just didn't think of it. I thought that woman looked a bit like Huamin. But I didn't think that there was something fishy going on. If she saved the children but didn't touch us, it only means that she doesn't have enough people and doesn't dare to confront us directly. Big brother Jun, we have to chase after her. That woman is afraid of us. She must be not confident. Otherwise she wouldn't have done this. We have to get the children back before she sends them back to Sea City. You're crazy. There are police everywhere in the city. Who do you think Qin Chu is? We'll die if we go back. Isn't that asking for trouble? Obviously, He Yongjun didn't want to go back. Then, are we going to give up just like that? Are we going to let the ducks in our mouths fly away? If that's the case, isn't it too cowardly? Xinjiani mumbled. Shut the fuck up. He Yongjun scolded. Seeing that he was really angry, Xinjiani lowered her head and didn't say anything. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. You just want to avenge your son, so you're using me. I do want 1 billion yuan, but I need to be alive to spend it. Right now it's not in our hands. Whether or not Qin Chu has the kids, he won't let us go. We have to get out of here as soon as possible. It's not safe in the country anymore. Let me tell you, no matter how much hatred you have to hold it in. Where there's life, there's hope. I've been hiding all these years, and the only reason I'm still alive is because I'm able to endure and not stupid enough to risk my life. He Yongjun's words were very obvious. He didn't want to die. Since the kidnapping mission had failed, he had to escape as soon as possible. Otherwise, if they were caught by Qin Chu, they would definitely end up in a miserable state. I just can't accept it. Xinjiani clenched her fists tightly. She had thought that she could successfully avenge her son. She didn't think that not only would she fail but she would also be chased away like a drowning dog. To be honest, she didn't want to go back to that godforsaken place in Vietnam ever again. If you can't accept it, then get out of the car. We'll go our separate ways here. You can go to your good daughter and see if she can help you. Humph. Yeongjun snorted coldly. Obviously he was already impatient with Shinjiani. Big brother Jun. Look, why are you still angry? Why would I leave you? I still love you in my heart. Seeing that Yeongjun was really anxious, Shinjiani began to coax him. See City, Yen, your mom went to visit her relatives for a few days. Why isn't she back yet? Shin Mingxi suddenly asked during dinner. Upon hearing this, Hui Yanyan's expression changed slightly. Chapter 27-24. Mingxi, why did you suddenly ask this? Hui Yanyan looked at Shin Mingxi with a fake smile. Oh, nothing. I just thought of it. My mom hasn't been back for a long time. Now that she's back, it's normal for her to visit her relatives. Plus, if Hui Xichin finds out that my mom's back, he'll be in big trouble. So I told her to stay in the countryside for a while. Hui Yanyan's excuse was perfect. Oh, I see. Shin Mingxi nodded and didn't say more. After dinner, Hui Yanyan told Tian a story while Shin Mingxi put on his jacket and walked out. You're going out? Yeah, I'm meeting a few friends. Hey, don't drink too much and come back early. Hui Yanyan had always been very gentle and considerate. Wei Ying, the young mistress of the Wei family, didn't have that kind of gentleness, so Shin Mingxi always thought he was lucky. He even thought that he and Hui Yanyan were true love. When he went downstairs, Shin Mingxi's expression wasn't very good. He pressed the key to his car. He got into the new silver BMW sports car and drove away. When Suyu received Shin Mingxi's call, he had just returned to his private mansion from the Municipal Public Security Bureau. He didn't dare to tell his grandpa about the twins, or else his family would be worried sick. Suyu was also very anxious. His mouth was full of bubbles and he didn't dare to eat anything. He walked to the fridge, opened it and took out a can of iced Coke. He pulled the tab and took 2 big gulps. Just then his cell phone rang. It was an unknown number. Suyu pondered for a while before answering the call. Oh. Lord Su, I'm Mingxi. Suyu didn't say anything. Last time when he and Shin Mingxi had a falling out, he had blocked Shin Mingxi's WeChat and phone calls. Later, Shin Mingxi regretted his words and asked several rich people to act as middlemen to reconcile with Suyu, but he didn't get what he wanted. Shin Mingxi even went to beg Tang Chuan, but Tang Chuan ignored him. First, Wei Liao and Shin Mingxi had broken up because of the grudge between the Wei family and the Shin family. Later, he and Suyu had a falling out and Tang Chuan didn't give him face. Now that Shin Mingxi called Suyu from a new number, it was a sign that he was trying to appease Suyu. Suyu thought he was going to apologize for what happened last time. Suyu was in a bad mood. He hadn't slept since he found out that the twins were missing. Every time he closed his eyes he would s. They surrounded Suyu and kept calling him Handsome Su. Thinking of this, Suyu felt sad. Young Master Su, I want to meet you and talk to you. I don't have anything to talk to you about. I'm very busy. I'm hanging up. Suyu was about to hang up. Don't, Lord Su. I really have something important to tell you. It's about the twins, Shin Mingxi blurted out anxiously. What did you say? Suyu perked up at the mention of the twins. Didn't the twins get lost? I might know where they are, Shin Mingxi said slowly. Where are you? I'll go find you, Suyu immediately asked. I'll go find you. I'm on my way. Then come to my house. Be quick. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Shin Mingxi was relieved that Suyu was willing to see him. 18 minutes later, Shin Mingxi's car stopped in front of Suyu's private mansion. He nodded and greeted him. Where are the twins? Suyu was so anxious that he asked directly. Chapter 27-25. Lord Su, don't worry. I'll tell you about it slowly. Shin Mingxi followed Suyu into the house and sat down in the living room. Shin Mingxi told Suyu his thoughts in full detail. Suyu frowned slightly when he heard what Shin Mingxi had to say. You're saying that you suspect that the child is with Hui Yanyan's mother? Suyu asked. Shin Mingxi nodded. Ever since Yanyan came back from her relative's house, she seemed uneasy and absent-minded. She seemed to have something on her mind, but she didn't want to tell me. She kept saying that they went to visit relatives, but I've checked and found that they don't have any relatives in this city. I've only seen her mother once since she came back. She's a very smart woman with a mysterious man by her side. She said that he's her mother's boyfriend, but I don't think he's just a boyfriend. Most importantly, the day they left coincided with the day the child went missing. That's why I'm guessing that they took the child away. After all, Huamin's death was related to Qin Chu. Yanyan's mother wouldn't just sit back and do nothing. Also, I heard that she was very close to the Vietnamese mafia boss when she was in Vietnam. She's not an ordinary woman. Shin Mingxi's words were all speculations, but they made sense. Why are you only telling me this now? Su Yu blamed Shin Mingxi for telling him so late. I wasn't sure at first. How can you be sure now? Su Yu looked into Shin Mingxi's eyes, trying to discern if he was telling the truth. I can't be sure now, but it's been so long and there's still no news of the child. I think it's better to give it a try. Let's find Yanyan's mother and that man first. Even if they don't have the child, it's fine. At least we'll have another chance. Hearing this, Su Yu fell silent. Shin Mingxi did mean well. I'll send someone to investigate their whereabouts immediately. Then I'll go back and ask Yan again to see if I can get anything else, Shin Mingxi said. Absolutely not. Su Yu stopped him. Why? Shin Mingxi didn't understand Su Yu's intentions. I don't want to alert the enemy. If Hui Yan knows that we know about this, she might inform her mother in advance. Oh right, I forgot about that. Shin Mingxi raised his head as if he wanted to say something but stopped himself. Speak. Can I ask you for something? Tell me about it first. If it was really Yanyan's mother and that man who did it, even if Yanyan knew about it, she definitely wasn't involved in the kidnapping. Can you let her go? It turned out that Shin Mingxi had come to plead for Hui Yan in advance. How should I put it? It's best if she wasn't involved. Otherwise, even if I let her go, Qin Chu will chop her into pieces. Su Yu sneered. Shin Mingxi was slightly surprised. Anyway, thank you for the information. That's all. Then Su Yu stood up and immediately sent someone to investigate Hui Yanyan's mother and that man's entry and exit records. They found that there was no record of them. It seemed that they had smuggled themselves back. Su Yu then called Qin Chu. Qin Chu, I have news. What is it? Someone gave me a clue that Shin Jiani and her lover might have kidnapped the child. Come over, let's discuss what to do. Okay, I'll be right there. Honey, is there news about the child? Seeing that Qin Chu's expression wasn't right, Huamin grabbed him. Chapter 27-26. Mion, you're too tired. Go to sleep, I'll talk to you when I get back. Qin Chu gently comforted Huamin. Who called? Su Yu. Then he must have news. No, I have to go. Huamin struggled to sit up in bed. Seeing how determined she was, Qin Chu didn't say anything else. He took out a thick coat from the closet and put it on Huamin. Then the couple drove out. Hua Mansion boss, we have news. Aching knocked on the door and walked in. At this moment, Hua Xiqian was making tea for himself. He seemed to be in a good mood. She was wearing a white Chinese-style mandarin jacket which had a very Chinese style. He was carrying a string of expensive beeswax in his hand. It was said that a few years ago Hua Xiqian bought it from a Tibetan family when he was traveling in Tibet. The twins are out of He Yongjun's control. They're now in Zhang Manlin's hands. Haha, that's expected. I wonder what she's going to do next. Aching said. I've already made my intentions clear. I don't want the kids to come back. Hua Xiqian lowered his head and took a sip of tea. But Zhang Manlin might not listen to you. She's very scheming. Plus, you know that she has feelings for Qin Chu. She wants something to do with Qin Chu, so that's easy. Where is she now? After leaving Taoyuan village, she drove all the way to the mountains. Her current coordinates are around 295 in the southwest. Damn, very good. Let's see where she can take the kids. Hua Xiqian chuckled. Do we need to do anything now? Yes, you need to edit the video from the car and send it to the Public Security Bureau anonymously. Gao Ran will see it and Qin Chu will see it too. The Public Security Bureau will definitely put her on the wanted list. It doesn't matter if she wanted to kidnap the twins or not, as long as the warrant is out, she will be convicted. Boss, doesn't that mean Zhang Manlin is no longer of any use to us? Aching was taken aback. I didn't plan on using her all the time. Now that I've given up on her, she can still be of some use. Okay boss, I'll go right away. An hour later, Gao Ran received a video from an anonymous tip. After watching it, he was shocked. He gave Qin Chu a call. Soon after, Qin Chu, Su Yu and Hu Min came to the office of the municipal bureau for a meeting. What happened? How did the kids end up in Zhang Manlin's hands? Hu Min was shocked. Yeah, I'm confused too. Chu called me earlier and asked me to investigate Xinjiani's whereabouts. Gao Ran was also confused. Something must have happened. Alright, did you find the man with Xinjiani? Siu asked. Gao Ran nodded. He took out a craft paper and placed it on the table. This man is a fugitive. He used to be a wanted criminal. Many years ago he killed people and hid in Vietnam. His case has always been unsolved. Now he quietly came back to the country and changed his name. I didn't expect him to be with Xinjiani. Xinjiani has been coming back to take revenge on me. She always thinks that I killed Huasi, Hu Min said uneasily. No matter what, let's do a full-scale search. He Yongjun, Xinjiani and Zhang Manlin need to be arrested, Su Yu said. Just then, Qin Chu took out his phone and called Zhang Manlin's number. If the kids were really in Zhang Manlin's hands then, Qin Chu was confident that he could convince Zhang Manlin to send the kids back safely. However, he didn't think that Huasiqian would be one step ahead of him and play a dirty trick. Things became even more confusing. Chapter 27:27. To Qin Chu's surprise, he couldn't get through to Zhang Manlin's phone. How is it? Hu Min asked anxiously. I can't get through. Qin Chu put down his phone. Do you know who sent the anonymous video? Hu Min asked Gao Ran. I don't know, there's no way to verify it. But from the angle of the video it was shot from the front and from a close distance, Gao Ran analyzed. If that's the case, the camera must have been installed in the car. Zhang Manlin's driving was captured so clearly. She's just a small accountant at Southside and she's never exposed her wealth. This car must have cost a fortune. It's a Mercedes-Benz GLK series, Qin Chu said. So you could tell as well. Men knew cars better than anyone else. He knew the brand from the logo on the steering wheel and the series from the details of the gears. But before he could say anything, Qin Chu spoke first. Needless to say, Qin Chu's reaction was faster than his. Mercedes-Benz. Zhang Manlin wouldn't own a car like this, but she's so familiar with it. Can only mean that she drives this car often. If I'm not wrong, it should be Huasiqian's. So? What are you trying to say? Gao Ran didn't understand. The child is in Zhang Manlin's hands. Maybe she's under Huasiqian's orders, so Zhang Manlin wouldn't dare to pick up the phone right now. Gao Ran, give the order to search the entire province. Zhang Manlin's phone can't be reached, but her phone is still on her. Immediately use GPS, okay? Gao Ran nodded, thinking that Qin Chu's plan was very thorough. Xinjiani and He Yongjun can't be too far away. Catch them all. I'll deal with them one by one. Qin Chu suppressed his anger. His heart was already burning with rage. No matter who had the child, as soon as the matter was over, Qin Chu would make them wish they were dead. His daughters were only 3.5 years old and they had to wander around like this outside. Qin Chu's heart was already full of holes. Even a strong father had his weaknesses. The twins and Hu Min were Qin Chu's only weaknesses. I hope my daughters will be fine. Hu Min clasped his hands together and sat in a praying posture. It won't, Min. Everything will be over soon. Qin Chu held her tightly in his arms. On the side, Su Yu lowered his head and gritted his teeth. He was also worried to death. Although there were clues now, no one knew how the twins were doing. Were they hurt? Were they frightened? After finding out that He Yongjun was a fugitive, everyone was afraid, but no one dared to say it out loud. At this moment, Zhang Manlin was tired from driving, so she stopped at a remote village. She originally planned to go home, but she didn't. She was afraid that Xinjiani and her gang would catch up and drag her family into it. So she drove straight into the mountains. She found a village by a river and parked the car. Then she opened the trunk and took out a bottle of water and some bread. The two kids in the back seat were already awake, but they were very quiet and didn't make any noise. Here, eat something. Zhang Manlin handed over the water and bread. Miss Zhang, why didn't you call my dad? Do you still remember what I told you when we met in town? Pudding looked at Zhang Manlin coldly, obviously questioning her. Chapter 27:28. Little Bean, listen to me. I'm Pudding, Pudding corrected her. Little Bean, it's me. Little Bean stood on the side and looked at Zhang Manlin unkindly. Don't misunderstand, you two sisters. I had no choice. Do you know how much effort I put in to get you out of the hands of those bandits? Cut the crap. After you saved us, why didn't you go back to the city? Why did you go into the mountains? What's your intention? Little Bean asked. Oh, my little ancestor. I didn't dare to go into the city. If we were caught by those two, we'd be dead. They had guns, Zhang Manlin exclaimed on purpose. Then why didn't you call my daddy and ask him to come pick us up? Putty asked. It's a bit complicated. You know Hu Xiqian, right? He didn't allow me to do that. He even gave me a death order to kill you. But you know I'm not that heartless. To be honest, I'm a good person. I don't have the heart to hurt you two kids. So, I wanted to buy some time and let you go when Hu Xiqian let his guard down. Ah, you're that kind. Little Bean and Pudding laughed. What are you talking about? Zhang Manlin looked innocent. I tricked you before. You must hate me, Little Bean said. That's nothing. Your daddy treats me so well. How could I leave him in the lurch? I risked my life to save you too. It's okay if you're not grateful, but you're questioning my sincerity. Seriously, with the current situation, it's not suitable for us to run into the mountains. My daddy will find us soon, so don't use Hu Xiqian as an excuse. Pudding analyzed calmly. Little Bean nodded. Yeah, we're not 3-year-old kids. We're already 3.5 years old. Put away your tricks. If you really want to save us, don't play tricks. Do you understand? The mountain roads are difficult to travel on and the signal is weak. It will make it more difficult for my daddy to find us. If you continue to go down, you will have bad intentions. No, I'm just scared that the two criminals will catch up. You have to know that I don't drive fast and I don't dare to. I only drove a few 100 kilometers and the two of them might catch up soon. Then all 3 of us will be dead, Zhang Manlin explained. You don't have to worry about that. They're not locals and are very unfamiliar with this place. After passing by so many villages, they would have long lost track of us. Moreover, according to my analysis, if the 2 of them woke up and found that we were gone, their first reaction would not be to chase after us, but to escape. So your theory is not valid. Zhang Manlin didn't expect the 2 kids in front of her to be so thoughtful despite their age. She had made up so many excuses, but none of them worked on them. You do take a rest first. Eat something and drink some water. We'll study the rest later. Seeing that she couldn't out-talk them, Zhang Manlin began to serve them with bread and water. Drink some water first. Pudding looked at the mineral water in front of her cautiously. Yeah, have some bread first. We'll eat later. Little Bean followed her sister and asked Zhang Manlin to do an experiment. Otherwise, she was really afraid that Zhang Manlin would do something to the food and water. You're tuning in to the Biao's Wuxiao Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.